Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Behind the Mic, powered by REVOLT Podcast Network. I'm your host, Wise Grisette, RPN Community Manager and podcast enthusiast. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at TheRealWise. I had to take out some of the things that y'all are accustomed to hearing because we are making some changes. Anyway, I do have one ask for you. It's my typical ask, aka beg. Please subscribe to Behind the Mic wherever you listen to your podcast. Give us a 5-star rating. A review would also be helpful. We really appreciate it. Now, on today's episode, I'm joined by none other than Chanelle Reynolds, host of not one, but 2 podcasts on the network. Chanelle, welcome to Behind the Mic.
Thank you so much, Wise. It's just a pleasure to be here with you today.
Yes, a pleasure to have you here. So you got 2 pods. I kind of like stuck that in. You got 2 pods. Tell me a little bit about you and the 2 pods you're a part of.
Yes. So again, my name is Chanelle Reynolds, and I'm the host of the Success Playbook, which is my personal show in which I talk about all things success through a lens of sports. I also use it as an opportunity to tell Black stories in sports. So really excited about that. And then also I have a podcast with my twin sister, the Double Dose Podcast. So we talk about all things culture, topics, news, all the things. So
Yes.
Grateful to be a part of the REVOLT Podcast Network family.
Grateful to have you. Now, this is about Chanelle. This is not about Shonda, but if y'all do want to learn about Shonda, you can go back a couple episodes. We feature her on the podcast as well, too. But again, like I said, this is about you, Chanelle. So let's start with the tunes. So we have a playlist on Spotify. It's called B-Sides Track of the Week, where you can find all of our guests' favorite songs anytime. Now, B-side tracks to me are songs that aren't really that popular, but are just as good or better than A-side tracks. So share with me a little bit. What kind of B-side track you want to share with us today and why?
You know, I'm a gospel girly, so we'll throw a little Marvin Sapp up in there, praise him in advance. You feel me?
Yes, I will definitely add that one to the playlist. If y'all are aware of the, social stuff, Marvin Sapp is very popular right now. So make sure y'all hit that playlist. Because,
Listen,
Yeah.
he had to get the bills paid.
You feel me? You feel me? And the
Listen.
folks don't understand that. The folks don't understand. Y'all can find that playlist on Spotify exclusively. Just search B-Side Track of the Week. Now, Chanelle, I know a little bit about you from in front of the mic. And I know a little bit about you behind the mic, but share with us a little bit. I know that you work for the Washington Commanders. I know that you are based in the DMV area. I know that you went to a HBCU. Right? I know you have a twin sister, right? So talk to us a little bit about, who you are behind the mic. I think that people don't necessarily see when you're on the pods.
Who I am behind the mic. I mean, look, I am a mentor, right? It's very important for me to pave the way for people who look like me to come into an industry that wasn't, originally designed for us, right? I work in a predominantly white male space, right? So just, diversifying the industry and making sure that everybody feels comfortable showing up as their authentic selves. That's very important to me. It's something I hold very near and dear to my heart. What else? I am a daughter. I am a sibling. It's not just the 2 of us. So it's 5 girls total. So growing up, it was just, a lot of attitudes, of course, but we love each other. Yeah, I'm just, a chill person, and I take my brand seriously. Of course, I take my professional brand seriously, but I think it's also important for every professional to have a personal brand, right? I think that, especially as Black women, we go into these companies and we expect the company to tell us who we are, right? But it's important for Black women. We need to define our own narratives, right? Because in most cases, statistically, we're not treated the best in workplace settings. So you need to control your own narrative by having your own personal brand, which is why I'm such a strong believer in it.
So for your job there, you are working in diversity, equity, and inclusion?
I am, yes.
Now, that has been a trigger word for some people as of recent. And especially with you working in the Washington area, do you feel like there have been some hesitation, post January of this year around the position, the work that you do, whether that's internally and externally?
So that's an interesting question. And I mean, as you can imagine, I get that on the daily. But what I will say is that I do believe that sports is one of the places that you really can't take away diversity, equity, and inclusion in sports, right? 80% of our players on the field are Black, right? On the basketball court, it's even more than that. This is statistical, right? And for me, sports has always been the platform where you are to have uncomfortable conversations as it relates to social issues, right? We saw it with Colin Kaepernick. We saw it with Muhammad Ali. We saw it with Tommy Smith and John Carlos in the 1968 Olympics, right? So sports has always been the place where you have these diversity, equity, and inclusion conversations. It didn't start with us, so it's not going to end with us.
Definitely well said, especially like you said, considering the fact that well over 2/3 of the league, most leagues are Black. What's your journey into sports, to your position now? Like, how did that even come together? And where was the interest level?
Yeah, so I mean, I'll definitely say it's something that I kind of, stumbled into. I knew in undergraduate, like, whatever I did full time, it had to be fun, right? It had to be exciting. And then I got my first internship in undergrad at a arena. So it was the Wells Fargo Center in Philly. That's where the Sixers play. That's where all the big concerts were. And that's where I kind of got that exposure. And then from there, that's where I knew I wanted to be, right? So I got my first big break in the industry with the NBA G League. So the Delaware Blue Coats, which is the NBA affiliate to the Philadelphia 76ers. And then I worked my way up and around there. And then I came here to the Commanders in 2018. Came here specifically to start up one of their departments here. And for me, that was a no-brainer because not a lot of people can say they started a multi-million-dollar department for an NFL team. So, I was young, again, Black woman making some big moves in the industry. And I just kept going, right? And then, the passion has always continued, right? Continue to make ways for others, continue to be a voice, and continue to be a mentor along the journey.
Now, you said it was 2018. Was this before or after the name change?
Oh, this was way before. So I've been here through all the name changes and all the.
How has that been to navigate, especially as the original name that they had was touchy for some people?
Yeah, look, and the right people were in the room to make that decision. So yeah, it was definitely a process, getting our fans to adopt a new name. But of course, as a winning team, it's not hard to get people to get behind you now. So it's been a fun transition. And again, that's one of the things that not a lot of people can say they experienced, right? So it's been remarkable to be a part of, like, such a historic brand that also went through some major changes.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so on the other side of this break, y'all, we're kicking it into overdrive with our rapid fire game right after this. I've always wanted to have the opportunity to talk to each of you individually, and guess what? Now I can, thanks to FanList. You can now visit fanlist.com/podcast with an S and leave us a voicemail. Share your thoughts, your favorite moments, and even shout out a host that inspires you. Who knows? You might even hear your voice on the podcast. So visit fanlist.com/podcast with an S to get started. I'm looking forward to hearing from y'all. And we're back, y'all. Thanks again for sticking around. Now we're kicking it into overdrive with the rapid fire round of Would You Rather. Chanelle, are you ready to play?
Let's go.
Okay, so starting in 3, 2, 1. Would you rather go viral or become timeless?
Timeless.
Would you rather be known for your voice or known for your vision?
Ooh. Well, dang. See, with my voice, I would be expressing my vision.
Could say that.
So I guess my voice?
Okay. Would you rather impress your peers or impress your younger self?
Younger self.
Would you rather build a team or fly solo?
Build a team.
All right, we're done.
I wish I could give some explanations, but
You could now. Go ahead. You got the time right now.
Okay. I would say build a team because there's an African proverb that says if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So that's why I would build a team. Even though most times I feel like I work better solo, but I understand that for a big vision, you need people. So
shout out to episode 1 and 2. We had Wangechi and Brian from Untitled Africans, and they both use the same exact proverb. So
nice.
Yes, we're getting full circle now.
Oh, I met them in Atlanta too. They're cool.
Yeah. Yes, we did. Shout out to Revolt World. Before we end this episode, what's one thing you want people to know about you that they wouldn't get from listening to either of your podcasts?
I'm a highly ambitious person, and I think the downfall with that is that like we're always looking for our next thing, right? And sometimes you lose focus that you're currently in like that answered prayer, right? You're currently in that place where you wanted to be a year or two ago because you're so focused on that next thing. So yeah, I guess people should know about me that, maybe I'm a little bit harder on myself than I need to be.
Yeah, definitely can resonate on everything that you just said. Everything.
Yes.
Okay, so before we leave, please let the audience know where they can find you on socials, connect with you, the podcast, and all the ambitious things that you're doing.
Yes, so I'm Chanelle S. Reynolds on all things social media. I don't have a Instagram page for my podcast. Maybe I should, but I should.
I don't have one either.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, y'all can find me there.
That's Chanelle, so CHANELLES.
Yes.
Reynolds, REYNOLDS. Thank you so much again for listening to another episode of Behind the Mic, powered by REVOLT Podcast Network. Chanelle, thank you so much for joining us today. I really do appreciate it. I'm your host, Wise Grisette, as I mentioned. You all can follow me at The Real Wise on Instagram and Twitter, formerly known as X. I'm internationally known on the microphone as Wiz, Wizzy, and Wise, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Behind the Mic, powered by REVOLT Podcast Network, is hosted by me, Wise Grisette. Special thanks to the Indie Creative Network and Storytime Studios for editing and producing this podcast.